everyone, welcome back to another marquee matchup between Kokusho, JDB hashtag 1976, rolls off the tongue, and James, also known as Simp4Sylvain, also rolls off the tongue. I'm rolling us in to the matchup. Personally, I think Joe's team is like top 3 in the league and really hard to play against, but James, he's big brain, and he might have something saucy to counter it. What do you guys think?
I I just see Fluttermane and Indeedee, and I just run as far as I can, and then I see the neutralizing gas wheezing to prevent any swift swim shenanigans from happening. Because like I said, I tried that when I went up against Joe, and he just switched in uh
Um,
wheezing, so he could probably do the same thing to the Bear Tick Polytoad lead if he was potentially thinking about doing that to try and outspeed Fluttermane. Uh,
Yeah, I gotta
yeah,
say, there's a lot of Pokemon who want the ability shield here, but he can only put it on one.
Yeah, not being able to run Shadow Tag is bad. Not being able to run Drizzle is bad.
No
Water
water
Bubble,
bubble is
no Water
devastating.
Bubble is terrible.
when
It's.
good as gold.
I mean, good as gold doesn't really matter. You're never gonna. If Joe runs Toxic for Golden Go with Weezing, he's better than me. Better player. But Swift Swim's really bad. I don't know. It's just a tough situation. I'm really interested to see how James is gonna get around it because hell if I know. Do you guys want to tell them they can start?
Uh, yeah, I'll go ahead. This I Fluttermane and Indeedee are so scary. I always forget he also has Salamence and Urshifu.
Wow. Leading off with the two big hitters immediately.
Yeah, this is just like I'm gonna big body you lead loser. Unfortunately, the pimp, if he's scarfed, could one shot Flutterman, but it's
Yeah, we
probably
don't see
running
a booster
Sash.
energy.
We don't see the booster energy, so it's almost certainly running Sash. And the unfortunate thing is, if you don't do something quickly to Flutterman, it's got really high special attack, Thunderbolt and Shadow Ball for both these Pokemon. And even if you don't want to run Shadow Ball, you have Wicked Blow on Urshifu to just blow up Golden Go. I do
And if you were
think
thinking about protecting, you can forget it.
you cannot protect, which is really cool. I think fortunately what James has going for him is that Tornadus Therian can deal with Urshifu, so Joe can't let Tornadus just get a move off on it without tearing or handling Tornadus in some way.
Again, we see no nicknames on Joe's side. He rarely ever puts nicknames on it, but we always appreciate what he does.
He brought them against you.
Yeah.
He respected your taste in anime, which is the only way you get nicknames. We are going to see the
Alright.
Terra Fairy. This is a
Fairy.
scarfed Urshifu. That is big news.
Ooh. And they
Absolutely
both live?
insane that he did not die to Wicked Blow and Dazzling Gleam. We are seeing the
That is
lack
a
of.
max HP, max defense, possibly. I have no idea what he's running.
It is running full tank stats for sure. I mean, maybe it's running some speed, but it's definitely at least max HP. I do think James is in a really good spot here. Very accurately identified that if Joe gets speed control up, the situation is just devastatingly bad for him. He is running the nice Terra Fairy on Golden Go, which I didn't even know it got Dazzling Gleam, so this commentator is surprised, but it does one-shot Urshifu, which is great.
Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. Protect the Fluttermane. Knockoff doesn't hit. Make it really,
Weezing
really
almost certainly
low.
lives this one time. I'm
Yeah.
interested. It's Sludge Bombing Golden Go, I imagine. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. See if he has anything else to hit Fluttermane.
I really think Purple like Summer Rain. Oh, this is a really bad situation for Joe. You've lost speed control. Tornadus gets 100% accurate Bleak Wind Storms.
Yeah, that
Polytoad.
confirms the ability shield on the Polytoad.
Yeah. It
Clearly, yeah.
it is still chilling. It is still vibing. I mean, I really think your moves are pretty simple here as James. You hit Bleak Wind Storm, and I don't know, a water move, Icy Wind. The world's your oyster.
If he's running full tank stats on Tornadus, though, then it might not kill Fluttermane with
That's
that
true.
135 special defense.
Maybe Bleakwind Storm into Scald on Flutterman is the right play. I don't know. I definitely think Joe's on the back foot here and has to do something.
There's
Okay,
Bleak Windstorm, didn't kill.
full take stats. Full take stats. Tornadus is coming back to bite us a little bit because it didn't do any damage.
And we
You
got the poison on the Sludge Bomb. Boo. Not that it matters that much, but still.
Probably does not matter. So
And DD
you do
comes
have
out with no Psychic Terrain.
you do have one more turn of Tailwind. These are the last 4 Pokemon left on the field. The neutralizing gas preventing Psychic Terrain is actually very relevant because you might be able to get like a Aqua Jet and Rain onto Weezing or something of the like.
The question is he even running priority moves with the knowledge of Psychic Terrain being a threat?
That's true. It also, I imagine Joe is just going to go for double protect here and stall out the Tailwind. And then at that point, you've got Slow as Dirt, Paddington Bear, and Purple Like Summer Rain out against Aditi, who, even without Psychic Terrain, gets really strong stab Hyper Voice.
If Joe prepped for this possibility, he may run Fake Out on Indeedee Mail, because that's one of the moves it actually gets.
If he runs Fake Out, I refuse to commentate game 2. I won't do it.
They're really taking their time here.
Maybe he's inner focus.
Have you
Heavy
seen
slam?
That's a crazy read.
Oh
That's a crazy
my
read.
God.
That's a crazy read.
That's
Holy moly!
insane.
Holy moly! Wow! He's cheating! He's cheating! Sorry, I never get worked up like this. I normally feel like I see what's happening. Joe not protecting there shocks me. He might not be running protect on either of those Pokemon, but I am blown away and appalled that he read the Terra Fairy and heavy slammed it. I'm freaking out. That was crazy.
I didn't know if this was relevant, but James did ask me to set up cameras in Joe's house the other day. I didn't think that had anything to do with this. I thought it was just some weird thing that he was going for. But
a real friend for driving from Georgia to Louisville, Kentucky to set up cameras for Joe.
Listen, I'm a little bit closer than he is in Florida, so
that's true. That's true.
That was absurd.
That is crazy. I mean, I'm freaked out. I don't like that. I feel stinky. I want to take a shower. I cannot believe he went for that over an ice move, and it worked.
It paid off.
It paid off. It paid off.
Because I don't think any other move. I don't even think Heavy Slam would have killed without. Heavy Slam definitely wouldn't have killed without the Terra. And I don't think the ice move, unless he's like Bandit, would have killed.
For sure. We see an avatar change from Kokusho here.
We love Iona. I'm a tier 3 Twitch subscriber to Iona's stream. I love her. She's my favorite, second favorite, third favorite. I keep demoting her. Larry and Grusha are better than Iona, but I loved her. She was a fun gym leader. But I mean, if you're Joe, I feel like the game was going pretty well for you up until you got Soul Red.
Soul Red.
So I don't know if you really want to change anything. Unfortunately, you are revealed. Oh, I just realized something. So the reason that Tornadus was able to live game 1 is because Joe went for Dazzling Gleam. If you mix it up and go for Moonblast or Shadow Ball, it just doesn't live. It lived on 5% HP, something like that.
Yeah.
So you could just double into it with a single target move and Wicked Blow, and it can't do that anymore.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't get away with that another time.
So what leads do you think we're seeing in this game?
I think exact same thing from both players.
I don't know. I could see him mixing it up with a potential Trick Room, but again, I'm not sure. Because his team is relatively fast, but I don't know. Veritic can get really slow, but obviously it was pretty fast last game.
I mean, Joe's team is significantly faster, but he doesn't have the Tailwind strategy set up. I mean, I think if I'm Joe, I think I only lost because James red me, and if I'm James, I think I just won with that lead. Go crazy.
Yeah, both of those are definitely possibilities. I don't know if we see Reggie Giga's show.
I hope not. I
Oh,
hate
that's
that guy.
different. We see Salamence come out, get the Intimidate. Okay, two
Ye-
very different leads. We were completely wrong.
Okay, so Joe, here's what I think happened. Joe thinks that the only reason he lost game one is he lost speed control. You match that with Salamence. James thinks Joe's gonna do something different because he's my league game one worked, so I'm gonna go for this really crazy trick room team. Unfortunately, if I remember correctly, Araquanid has really, really high special defense, but pretty bad defense. So I don't know if it can survive a dual wing beat. But if you dual wing beat it, you're leaving GameStop employee the goth woman uh, around to do whatever she wants. She gets fake out. Of course, that doesn't work on Flutterman. But you get sorry, Adrathion making fun of me, but I deserved it. But you do leave Araquanid to do whatever it wants, and Flutterman almost certainly cannot survive one move unless it's sashed from Araquanid.
We've already got the Intimidate drop on Araquanid, although I think a Liquidation would probably still kill Fluttermane even at -1.
Yeah. Very poor matchup into Salamence Araquanid has, but if you get Trick Room up, I don't really think you care. Joe's team has revealed itself to be incredibly fast, especially now that you have Scarf Urshifu revealed.
That win in game one, that soul read was so big for James here. Got the
Mercy the
Terra
Fairy.
Fairy. Alright. Crunch. He tried to double into it to prevent the Trick Room going up. And Liquidation, I was wrong, it did not kill.
Yeah, I'm
Fluttermane
kind of
now has
shocked by
0
that too.
defense.
I wonder if it's running any sort of HP, or if Araquanid's Intimidate drop was just that significant. I do think James ran a really strong Terra. Joe clearly had identified that he didn't want Trick Room going up for the reasons we talked about beforehand. But Terra Fairy, bad situation, bad mojo. Oh
The
no.
charm.
The charm.
That does so much damage.
That still does so much. But
Araquanid
it
has
does not
4
kill, and that's what's
defense.
important.
Okay, so we are now in the situation Gothitelle thrives in. You got 2 Pokemon that don't want to be in this game anymore, stuck against Gothitelle, and you can't leave.
Apparently you can.
Uh,
Ooh. Yeah, the
uh,
Raquanid falling anyway, but that neutralizing gas really nerfing its damage there.
Right.
I
He's got a Shadow
remembered!
Tag.
I thought he wasn't Shadow Tag. Ghost types can't be trapped.
Right,
Flutterman
Ghost
can just
types can
leave
get out.
whenever it wants. Yeah.
And
Now
now
these 2
anyone can
Pokemon
leave.
are not Ghost type, but like Caleb put out, Shadow Tag doesn't work when the disco balls are on the field. They're chumming away. Man, this is kind of fascinating. GameStop employee doesn't exert a ton of pressure, but is keeping these Pokemon trapped in and charming them. Purple, like Summer Rain, does a lot of damage with Scald because of the rain boost, or Icy Wind because Salamence
Yeah.
is Salamence.
Could even see an Ice Beam
But
here.
an Ice Beam, yeah, something like that. But I wouldn't call any of these 4 Pokemon particularly offensively threatening, especially because Weezing can outspeed, or maybe can underslow GameStop employee and kill with Sludge Bomb. We just don't know what the EV spread is like.
Urshifu comes in. We get the Psy Shock into Weezing. Unfortunately, Weezing's defense prevents that from being super good. But the Earth Power comes out, and now we are back to being trapped.
Am I stupid? Is it running competitive? It's not running competitive.
It's not running competitive, otherwise that Intimidate would have.
Oh,
Oh
it
no,
was the
wait.
gas.
Sorry. It was the gas. It was the gas. Holy moly, I hate
Yes,
Weezing.
yes.
It is the worst Pokemon of all time. I
It's
hate
so
it.
easy to forget.
It's so easy to forget. I hate Weezing.
So easy to just beat up your Terrakion anyway.
I'm actually muting. If I have to deal with seeing that stupid image one more time.
I think we
This
see
is
a Protect from Fluttermane here for sure.
I just realized something. Urshifu might not be scarfed. And James could be running really low speed on Tornadus Therian. Let me go back and watch game 1. I thought it was scarfed.
Terra Dark. You see the Protect, the Psyshock. Burn? Oh, we got the burn.
Oh,
Now,
one of
does
the
crit
only ways to actually
ignore
deal with
burn?
Urshifu.
Crit does indeed. I think it ignores burn, right?
I
I don't know. That did a very little damage.
It's Terra Dark and not. Oh.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Crits only ignore stage-based stat drops. Stuff like burn still affects them.
And
So,
then we got Paddington in the back. Now, is Paddington faster is the real question.
Who do we kill
So-
here?
so I think the issue is you've got burned Urshifu, which still does a lot of damage to you with the close combat. But you also have Flutterman, who does a lot of damage because it's Flutterman. Which one do you pick?
It doesn't matter. It's faster with the scarf.
It
Or
doesn't.
maybe not even scarfed.
It might not
with
be running
sword.
Swift Swim.
It might not be running Swift Swim. It might have been built for Trick Room. Yikes.
It might be built for Trick Room. Flutterman outspeeds.
No Ice Shard here either.
No Ice Shard. The
Seemingly.
game is over. Dang.
Crazy games.
That really felt like James had everything he wanted turn 1 and still lost. That's gotta be a morale killer.
That's Joe's team. It's a morale killer. I think
Yeah.
if he had packed a fairy move on GameStop employee, it would have gone a lot smoother because then he could have taken out Salamence and Urshifu.
Yes, not having Dazzling Gleam. I don't even know if he gets Dazzling Gleam on Gothitelle. Alex, do you know?
No, I'm not sure.
I'm gonna check really fast. It feels like everything in the game gets Dazzling Gleam. They throw it on any Pokemon that you could use its mind, but I'm gonna check anyway. It doesn't. Crazy.
It does not get Dazzling Gleam. It does
so
not get Moonblast.
that
The only thing
might
it could run is
explain
Terra Blast.
that might explain why he's not running his Proud Boom because it does not get any except for Rock Slide.
It doesn't even get a fairy move. It does get Charm, which he was running, but that's it. It doesn't even
Stab Charm goes pretty crazy.
Stab
I
Charm.
honestly don't know if you do here. I feel like Joe. Man, it's like every week we see these teams with all kinds of crazy anti-Joe tech, and then here comes Joe, and he just beats you down with strong Pokemon.
Just clicks moves.
You just can't cover for everything that he has.
Just
No.
presses good moves.
I mean, especially in a situation like if you don't prep for Wheezing Toad Scroll, your whole team gets put to sleep, and then he doesn't even bring it. And you know James sacrificed some sort of thing to make sure he didn't just get spored over and over again. There's probably goggles or Terra Grass on something. But okay. So Urshifu's definitely scarfed. I don't know what I was talking about earlier. I went back and watched. You are running against Terra Fairy. Yeah, it's faster than Flutterman. We are back to game 1 normal leads. Game 2, that was a fluke. Who knew what was gonna happen there? So if I remember correctly, Urshifu did not Terra Dark the first time. The first game. If you Terra Dark Wicked Blow into whatever, or if you just Wicked Blow into Moonblast, Genie cannot get Tailwind set up. You can switch it out, but as we've talked about, cannot protect because Urshifu will just punch you really hard.
The switch. We see a Terra Fairy and another Terra Fairy.
I think this might kill a Politoed. Yeah.
I think
You are
Politoed's
sacrificing
gone.
the Urshifu. You've agreed to do that. That's part of the trade-off you've made. But this is almost certainly a tough situation for James to be in.
Right.
Because you aren't any sort of Scarf or Specs on Flutterman, I don't think. It didn't do enough damage to be Specs. So I think you can just Moonblast Golden Go, and it might protect.
Well, is it even running Moonblast? Have you seen that? We did see that earlier, right?
I think so, yes. At the end of last game against
Yeah.
Paddington the Bear, we saw
That
Moonblast.
absolutely kills Golden Go with a Terra Fairy.
We've seen that Paddington's slower than Flutterman. If you don't protect on Golden Go, you might just die. At the same time, typing wise, James is in a really good spot because good as gold. Oh,
There goes
what's
the
happening?
Psychic Surge.
I'm scared.
We get Protect. He blocked the Moon Blast. Okay. Ice Punch into Indeedee, which was originally Salamence, which would have made sense. Unfortunately, Fluttermane lived.
Can we talk about how crazy it is that Paddington is that strong that he has -1 attack and punched a DD and it still did half?
Yeah, it is Indeedee male, who is a lot more frail, but still.
Yeah, but he is also caked up, and that's the trade-off that you have to make.
Sometimes that's just how it goes. All right, so now we've got Tornadus and Paddington. With a Paddington with -2, which we see the Adrenaline Orb proc. Hold up.
Wait a second, that's actually really relevant. I
That's
thought this
really
game was
relevant.
over,
Hold
but now
on.
he's faster than everything on Joe's team, can set
No
Tailwind,
way.
and then Paddington Bear can Ice Punch Salamence and kill it.
Even at -2, that kills the Salamence because he can't.
I feel like Sylvain's team dies in 2 gleams here.
Does die in 2 gleams. You might want to set Tailwind and punch Fluttermane with Heavy Slam. I mean, there's
Yeah.
I think the important thing is James now has access to speed control if he wants it.
Yeah, this is huge. This is gonna be a long turn to decide what moves to click. Because Fluttermane could always just protect too.
Either of these Pokemon can protect. Either of these
We-
Pokemon could not protect. Tailwind is almost certainly coming out because OKSGD does no damage, as we've established, 0.
Approximately none, yeah. Either way, if I'm Joe, I'm taking out Paddington this turn, or doing my best to try and take out Paddington this turn.
I think Paddington is the biggest threat left in the game, despite being 0.5 attack compared to OKSGD. I mean,
Because
I really think James is out as you set Tailwind on Tornadus and try to take out Fluttermane or Salamence. Now, if Joe gets you with Protect, it's game over. So,
See, I feel like
don't
if he
know.
does protect the Flutter, then that means it's not attacking, and that's actually really good for Sylvain here.
That's
Yeah,
true.
because Paddington can live something from Salamence.
There's the Tailwind.
There's
We
the
are seeing
Tailwind,
the
we
Ice
see the
Punch.
Ice Punch.
Wow.
It didn't kill.
No.
He misses!
Dual Wing Beat.
Pokemon sucks!
Pokemon
It's a terrible game. No one should ever play it. I'm begging you, do not play this game.
That looks like a Bleak Wind Heavy Slam to me.
They have played us for absolute fools.
It's Bleak Wind Heavy Slam. The game's over because you lost the kill on OKSGD. I mean, it's over. You can't win.
No, he was aiming at OK Gina. Yep. Okay, just making sure. Yeah, that Salamence might be running HP as well to live that. That's insane.
It was half attack. I don't know. All I know is that Alex is right. This is the most simple turn of all time. You Bleak Wind, you Heavy Slam, the game's over. Yep.
That's it. Joe falls.
Oh wow! And the crazy thing is, actually, if Joe had protected Fluttermane that turn, he might could have turned this around. Now that I think about it, because Rain expires this turn.
Double Protect to maybe dodge a Bleak Wind was something. It was a play that you could make, but
I'm just saying, like, Paddington would be slower than Fluttermane in Tailwind without
is.
because he needs Rain and Tailwind outspeed.
Wait, really? That's crazy.
Because earlier when he was in the rain, he didn't outspeed Fluttermane.
I thought
That's
he
true.
might have been running Slush Rush or Snow Cloak. I don't know. It's crazy. Those games were insane. I can't believe Dual Wing Beat is the worst move of all time and time again. Insane. Insane. I mean, I was talking on commentary about how James had no chance of winning, and then the Adrenaline Orb popped. It was crazy.
It was a big pop-off.
Did you have Protect on Salamence?
I did.
Okay. I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, what if he has Protect on Salamence? I've only seen Crunch and Dual Wing Beat. What if he protects it? But then again, you could have protected Fluttermane too. So I'm sitting here like going through all possible scenarios.
Joe, the people want to know, what HP EVs were you running on anything?
Did Salamence have any tank stats, or did it just raw live a nice punch from Beartick?
He didn't have many.
Okay.
have many,
Yes,
but he did have
Salamence had 4 HP EVs.
Oh dear. So the half attack really just allowed him to take it, which is pretty crazy because Beartick is a beefy boy.
Beartick was really beefy, especially this time. Max HP Assault Vest.
Yeah, I thought he was Assault Vest the way he took. I think it was a Moonblast in game 2. He just kind of shrugged it off.
I want to call out one play in particular. It's easy to forget about, but I rarely emote on comms, but I freaked out a bit. Was Heavy Slam onto DD a read? I have to know. Did you read Terra Fairy?
I didn't read Terra Fairy, but when I was looking at my moveset, it was Ice Punch, Close Combat, Heavy Slam, and Play Rough. I didn't want to take the Play Rough chance, and I'm glad I didn't. So it was between Close Combat and Heavy Slam. I believe they did the same amount of damage, and I said, hey, I don't want the defense or special defense drop, so I'm just going to Heavy Slam into it.
That is crazy. It worked out so unbelievably well. I thought you were the best player of all time, but it's still... I mean, that was a good play. You made the correct play, but I thought you were even better than I thought.
the soul read.
It's like he's in my head.
By the way, James told me that the cameras that I set up in your house the other day, Kokusho, you can take those down now.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. I had a funny thing for God. I was so scared of Spore. Let me tell you, I was practicing with Andrew, and he would just put everything to sleep on my team.
Really? Okay.
Who is Andrew?
That's me.
Yeah.
Oh, I kind of just always assumed your name was Alex for some because of
God.
your username.
Everyone fucking says.
I had a fun thing for neutralizing gas. Entrainment on Arachnoid, and I was like, I really wanted to use it. I was really sad that I didn't get to show it off.
Yeah.
Entrainment Arachnoid.
You would have given Wheezing water bubble.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's really funny.
Man.
I mean, I think coming from this from an outside perspective, if you want to beat Joe's team, you have to do all this crazy, wacky stuff like Adrenaline Orb, Max Bulk Tornadus. And I feel like, Joe, you play it so well every time, but your team is very honest. You know what their threats are, and they work because your Pokemon are so strong together. Like, you're playing against Fluttermane, it's going to run Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, a Shadow Ball, and Protect. It might run a different coverage move. But you've got people coming against you running Adrenaline Orb. You got people coming against you running Grassy Glide, Cottony. I mean, sure that... I just think it's always interesting to see what people have brought to counter your crazy team.
Yeah. Yeah, people are digging deep. It's exciting to see every week.
I don't even remember what
I did have
think
one
I played
question
my first
for
game was week 1.
Kokusho. You brought the Regigigas, but we never saw it in the games. So I was just wondering what the idea, what the thought process was behind leaving it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really have a thought, to be honest, on when I was gonna bring it. I was pretty happy with how, I don't know, game 1 went based on the Pokemon he brought. So I mostly decided to try and bring the same set and just try and alter my play a little bit. I was really concerned that because he went for a Tailwind setup in game 1, that if I went for a Regigigas setup, that I wouldn't be able to contest his Tailwind, and that he would just set Tailwind up again and sweep me.
Yeah, I figured it was more of a case of, well, I think my other Pokemon are just better here, so...
Yeah, so in game 2, going into game 2, I knew I either wanted to be able to set my own Tailwind, and bring Salamence, or I wanted to be able to lead another set that could potentially KO the Tornadus before it set Tailwind.
I
Maybe
I really
adjustment.
thought that was a smart move, is because losing speed control in game 1 really like ended up hurting you long term. So I saw the Salamence come up, and James really accurately predicted you'd go for that. Got the Trick Room up. It felt like James had everything he wanted game 2 and still lost. So I was sho impressed that you came back from that, and I'm also impressed with you, James, for not getting rattled after getting your Trick Room team in position and then still losing and fixing
It's so
fixing
easy
your
to get
leads game
rattled when that
3.
happens.
Yeah.
The with game 2, I thought he was going to use the same lead. Actually, I thought he was going to do the Urshifu Flutter Mane. I thought he was going to double down into Tornadus to like guarantee the KO. So I was like, well, if he does Urshifu and Flutter Mane, this is a lead that I practiced, a good bit. Trick Room really does well here. And then he led the Salamence. I'm like, well, this doesn't do as well with Salamence because it just sits there, it dual wing beats, and it destroys Arachnoid. I'm like, darn it. I should have led once again Tornadus and Goldingo. And I sat there like kind of like beating myself up over this because like I would have been able to set up the Adrenaline Orb and would have been able to outspeed with the Tailwind again. So I'm like, this was the perfect opportunity too. And luckily, it looks like back in game 3, you did end up bringing the Salamence in the back, and I was able to get that Adrenaline Orb.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the
the
Adrenaline Orb
showdown.
was good tech. It definitely caught me off guard.
Oh, I wanted to ask an EV question to James. Sorry, I'm giggling. Was your Tornadus max HP, max defense?
No, I think I posted it in the chat there.
Let me take a look.
It is actually 228 HP, 118 defense, and 92 speed. 92 speed to outspeed with Adrenaline Orb. And the reason that I had to change some of the defense EVs was because of Wicked Blow and how the damage works around that. So it was made to live a Wicked Blow plus a an additional move on the Flutter Mane. That was the idea.
Right. When it didn't die to Wicked Blow plus Dazzling Gleam, I knew we were not dealing with an offensive Tornadus.
Oh, I
No.
see now that Paddington was not max attack.
No, Paddington speed was to outspeed, I believe, Modest Flutter Mane in the rain, and then the max HP with the Assault Vest, I believe, made Moonblast or a 2-hit KO on it. But the it always one shots with Heavy Slam.
Yeah, the Moonblast in game 2 only did 35.6% damage to Paddington. So I was
Yeah,
like,
it was
okay,
a 3-hit KO.
this is a beefy bear we're dealing with.
I
That is
assumed you were running Tibbet since he was faster.
that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I was shocked when Fluttermane still outsped. I thought you might not be running Swift Swim, like hard committing to Trick Room, because Fluttermane was still faster. But it turns out Fluttermane is just really fast.
Ridiculously fast, timid. Like even like just going up against Tornadus, I needed the Adrenaline Orb to outspeed. Like and even then, in some calcs, if he set up not Trick Room, but his own Tailwind, I'm like, well, he just has speed control for the rest of the game.
Yeah, what'd you say your Tornadus' speed was?
Nat, it's 121, but it was 92 speed, timid.
Yeah, I'm looking at your EV spreads. Like, these are some interesting spreads.
It is the
A lot
most
of
like
times this
specialized EV
keep
spreads
thinking
I've
about
ever
EV.
seen. And then Golden Go is just doing the very normal 252 special attack modest. So
I needed as much damage on that thing as humanly possible. In fact, in practice games, it one-shots or for the most part, it one-shotted Salamence with Dazzling Gleam. So I would set up Tailwind beforehand, and I would be able to get off the Dazzling Gleam, and Salamence could not set up its own Tailwind.
Nice.
Heck.
I love the 60 defense on the Polytoad as well.
I think that was once again for Wicked Blow.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
You just have to consider like what I gotta make sure I can live any move from Joe's team. 'Cause any move from Joe's team just one shots if you're not specialized for it.
Yeah, turn 1 against Joe's team is very impactful. I feel like if you don't adequately prepare for Flutterman, then you just get both your Pokemon killed.
Oh, what item was Fluttermane holding? I'm assuming a Focus Sash.
It was a Focus Sash, yeah.
Okay.
I'll link my paste since you linked yours. 1 second.
This is good sportsmanship, camaraderie.
To see it. James, I'm sorry I lied to you. Me and Goose both sent you the matchup is unwinnable. Give up.
I DM'd it to him again last night just in case you forgot.
Oh my god.
Right before we go to comment on his match, we were both not believing at all.
Yeah, the sets were really impressive.
Very impressive.
Weezing was
Joe
max
got the
special.
interesting EV spreads too on some of these. 108 HP. I knew you were running HP on Fluttermane.
It lived something it had no business living. So it made sense that it was a little bulky.
Now I'm curious. What is this? I want to know the speed difference between this Fluttermane and Beartic in
Yeah,
the rain.
the Fluttermane was just set up to outspeed max speed Tornadus. And no other considerations really paid.
That's exactly what I do. I put an Excel doc of all the Pokemon speeds I'm against, and I make sure everyone can outspeed exactly what it can, and then put in bulk for everything else.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to see on Salamence. One of the things I was kind of scared about was Roar Salamence.
Oh yeah.
Joe loves Roar.
Wow. Okay, I checked it. Fluttermane outspeeds Beartic in rain by 3 points.
Oh,
Nice.
Timid 148 and
I was
Adamant 188.
I was really surprised because I had considered like what would I need to do to be able to outspeed like a potentially like max offensive, max speedy Beartic. And it was just too much for me to mess with trying to do that. I would need to either run like a booster energy or a scarf, I was pretty sure. So I was very surprised when it did outspeed.
Well, I guess unless anyone has anything else, we can wrap it up. We talked about EVs for a hot minute.
Think I'm good.
All right.
I think that's all the
GG's
questions.
everyone. Great games. I love high quality matches. I guess we'll close commentary.
Yeah.